Patrick, what the hell is this, Patrick? Top Thrall card of all time?
Yeah.
Ugh. It's clearly Maw of the Obsidian. Don't even try to get away with this Armor Thrall nonsense.
I can tell you that it's okay to be wrong. I learned this from Henry today.
Oh, I see, yes. Oh, I don't know, though. Thrall Wizard is pretty good, too.
Yeah, if we actually expand it out a little bit, instead of, like, legitimately just type Thrall.
Personally, I really enjoy Treasury Thrall. I just wish... I don't know. I just can never quite run it. I wish I could, but I can't. But it's a cool card.
I mean, the reality is Breeding Pit is pretty good, and so is Endixar, which are Thrall cards, but they're not, actual Thralls.
Yeah, well, I mean, Endixar is close.
Oh. Or Zavkirun it turns into a Thrall.
A 1/4 Thrall with lifelink.
Yep. What the is this card? Torox Gate.
I don't know, Patrick. What the is this card?
1 black for an enchantment aura. Enchant land you control. Sacrifice a Thrall. Put 3 time counters on Torox Gate. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter from Torox Gate. If there are no time counters on Torox Gate, sacrifice it. Tap enchanted land, attacking creatures you control get +2/-1 until end of turn. Activate this ability only if enchanted land is untapped.
I could see that going in Endrixar deck.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that in a deck.
Just a deck? Just a deck?
I'm not going to be more specific than that, because...
Hey, pick a card type. That's not Planeswalker or land. Do it.
We're not allowed to do Thrall?
Nope. Well, I mean, we can do the Thrall thing if you want, but also pick a regular old plain card type, like instant, sorcery, enchantment, or whatever.
Tribal.
That's not a thing.
Instant.
Try again.
Yeah, instant.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Do we have enough stuff in the show plan?
Yeah, I mean, we never really plan anything out because Patrick and I suck at that, but sure.
Okay.
It's Commander Time!
Welcome to Commander Time. We are yet another podcast about Magic the Gathering format known as Commander. We're the source of EDH news that struggles to tell their wives why a card costs $50 and why is it just sitting there on your desk and not doing anything if it's so special. What's up with that? So, I'm Nate Burgess.
Get out of my head, Nate. I'm Dean Goody.
And I'm Patrick Sapola.
Patrick's not married,
Today.
So... Well, I mean...
Get on that.
There are lots of school debts and lots of reasons why we're not married.
My point is, Nate wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, of course not. Today, what we are talking about is Mr. @Grubfellow here, Mr. Dean Goody on Twitter, started a hashtag DailyEDH over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Asked an interesting question every day about some aspect of Commander, and sparking conversations with the community and listeners like you. So if you imagine my hand coming out of the speaker and pointing at you, you.
Yes, you
but
particularly.
First,
you individually.
Yeah.
But first.
You. But first, is there anything but first? No?
36 Planeswalkers in War of the Spark. Each pack has a Planeswalker. Is anybody else gagged about that?
Depends on the Planeswalkers.
I don't know if I'm cool enough to know what you mean by gagged.
Are you like, I don't know, shocked or like impressed or otherwise? Do you have feelings about that?
If they can all be your commander and they all have partner, then yeah, I would have feelings about that.
Oh, yeah, let's really break EDH Rec.
That would be some bad feelings. Yeah, but that was just announced today, so we're all kind of like, whoa. Maybe in the future you'll have more information. You who is listening to this right now, maybe you know more than we do.
I probably do. Patron shout out to Jeff R. Yar.
We still have patrons?
Yeah.
Cool.
What's your top card?
Okay, Patrick, you put in the show notes, what's the question for this episode?
What is the top Thrall card of all time? I mean, we're back in Ravnica, where Thralls originally came back from Fallen Empires. And, just really made you start thinking, who's the best Thrall of them all?
And clearly, there is only one answer. And that answer is...
Yeah, it's Armor Thrall.
Maw of the Obsidian.
No, it's Armor Thrall.
Maw of the Obsidian.
Listen, you can't get +1/+2 counters anywhere, but Armor Thrall is going to be the real place you can get it.
Sacrifice a creature. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. It's Maw of the Obsidian.
No, but that's only until the end of the turn. This is a permanent +1/+2 counter. You can't get rid of that with -1/-1 counters.
Yeah, but this is a free sack outlet. Free. You don't have to pay anything.
Well, you don't have to pay anything except for Armor Thrall's casting cost for the +1/+2 counter, and
but
waiting until he doesn't have summoning sickness.
You gotta tap it. Yeah, and it's not a sack outlet. It just sacks itself.
But look at him, he's cute.
Yeah. Let's go to the tiebreaker. Nate?
Oh, let's see. I was looking at Treasury Thrall because it has Extort and it can return stuff from your graveyard to your hand. That one looks pretty cool. There's another one. Thrall Parasite is cheap. It only costs a single black. It's got Extort. And if you tap it and pay 2 life, you can remove a counter from target non-land permanent, so you can keep those planeswalkers down a little bit. Just poke at them.
Well, Nate's a traitor.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I can't believe you didn't choose Armor Thrall.
Or Maw of the Obsidian.
I think Mindstab Thrall has the best art.
I think you're right. It's the one with the weird scorpion arm coming up behind his head, right? With a little needle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. What's our actual top card topic of the episode?
What?
Our secondary one that's more relevant to current sets.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about, Dean. There's nothing more relevant than Thrall Tribal right now.
So why didn't you pick one from Ravnica Allegiance then?
Because he's not the best. The 2 Thralls from Allegiance are not the best Thrall. It would be doing a disservice. It would be doing a disservice to our fans and our listeners if I did not tell everybody the best Thrall was Armor Thrall.
Well, you are at least right that the 2 Thralls in Ravnica Allegiance are not the best Thralls. So, I agree with you.
At least we agree on something.
We do. They're okay. The one is decent and limited. The one that comes into play and drains somebody for 2. And then it's a 3/3 flyer. That's okay.
Grasping.
For limited.
Anyway, the actual thing we were talking about was the best instant in Ravnica Allegiance.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, let's Bedevil.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of what I was going to go with, too.
Bedevil? Oh, yeah.
Bedevil?
Yeah, black, red. Destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker.
Did you put a comma between artifact and creature? It sounded like you said artifact creature.
Artifact, comma, creature, Oxford, comma, or planeswalker.
Yeah.
I didn't want our listeners to think you could only blow up a planeswalker or an artifact creature.
Or an artifact planeswalker.
Yeah, they haven't done that yet.
Maybe one day.
They did consider it for Karn back in Mirrodin Besieged block. Or Scar's block. What's yours, Patrick? Or were you just gonna also say Bedevil?
No, Bedevil is 100% the one.
It's super good. It's super duper good. I actually went with Electro Dominance. I really like this card.
What's that?
Giving your other stuff flash and also fireballing something is pretty sweet. Yeah, end of your turn, I'll flash
like
in
memory
this
plunder.
Yeah, end of your turn, I'll flash in this Sword of Feast and Famine and deal 3 damage to your whatever, your planeswalker, your face, your other creature. It's pretty decent.
Yeah. Well,
or maybe I'll Electro Dominance flash in this emergency powers and hit you in the face for 7.
Yeah,
or,
that's if you have cards in your hand.
Sure. I'll flash in this Captive Audience.
Oh my goodness, that would cost a lot.
Yeah, it would cost 9, but it would be worth it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it would. Well,
I mean, I think we're all in agreement that yes, it would be worth it.
I can hear the gears turning in Nate's head right now.
I'm thinking of what would happen if you cast Fractured Identity on Captive Audience.
You would need to. You would get a copy of.
I think
one.
each player would get a copy of it, but then each player would get to choose which opponent gets control of it.
And each
So
of
they
your
could all
opponents
gang
would
up on the
probably
same.
give them to you.
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
probably.
Maybe
If
not.
I was your opponent, I would give it to you.
If you were my opponent, sure. But
Yeah.
I'm just speaking in general.
Sure.
Maybe somebody else at the table needs 3 Captive Audiences.
I had a very fun interaction in my EDH pod on Wednesday involving Fractured Identity. So I was playing Xantia, Sleeper Agent, and I had out a No Mercy to keep everybody away from me, and then I had out a Geth's Grimoire, and then I had out a Necrogen Mists. So at the beginning of everybody's upkeep, they had to discard a card. And then one of my opponents, my only opponent who was playing blue, he was playing Dragonlord Ajatai, so he thought that, and he had double strike on Ajatai, so he thought that he could keep up with the discard. He decided to Fractured Identity the Necrogen Mists, giving 1 to each of my opponents, so everyone had to discard 3 cards on their upkeep. And I got to draw 3 cards on everyone's upkeep.
Oh, wow.
I ended up winning that game. It was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't win with the cards mostly. We had a Krenko player, and he had a whole big board of goblins, and then he got really greedy. He top decked an Insurrection, cast it, getting Xantia, and he also had a quest for the Goblin Lord out, so all of his creatures had +2/+1, and he was at exactly 7 life. So I cast what's the 3-mana one where you tap a creature and it deals damage to its controller? I killed him with that, with my Xantia.
Backlash?
Yes. I believe that's the card. That's the one. Tap target untapped creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to its controller.
Yeah, or Delirium can do it. It has some extra timing.
Yeah, yep. So, that was a pretty fun win. Have you seen Fractured Identity at any of your tables lately?
Nope.
I have. There's one of the guys at MTG Lexicon, Brandon. He really likes Fractured Identity and keeps thinking of neat things to duplicate.
That's cool.
I mean, I kind of feel like it's a good equalizer for somebody who is putting out fat bombs all the time.
Oh, sure.
It's a really great way to just say, hey, stop doing that.
We should all have fat bombs.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
That's fat with a PH.
Yep. Yes, it is.
All right. How about the main topic?
The main topic.
Dean, what is #DailyEDH?
#DailyEDH is I'm calling it a micro-content series that I've been doing on Twitter. Literally every day since I started it, I've posted some kind of an EDH topic, usually with a question or some kind of weird card combo, or I don't know. I'll pick a card type and put a couple of examples, and I just try to get people to interact with it. I try to keep it pretty interesting, and it's kind of taken off. It's actually spread to some of the other writers on EDH Rec, and I'm not the only one using it anymore, which is really awesome. I'm happy to promote it.
Yeah, where is this happening?
Where is this happening? This is happening on Twitter.
Now, I got a really important question for you, Dean.
Yes. Shoot.
What?
Go, Patrick.
What is Twitter?
Okay. So, picture the internet.
Okay.
And now imagine Facebook on the internet, except you can't write more than a set number of characters on Facebook.
Facebook on the internet.
That's basically Twitter.
Okay, what if you had really, really slow ICQ on a web page?
Ooh, okay, now I'm understanding.
There we go.
See, Nate knows how to talk my language. I grew up in the ICQ ages. The ICQ wars.
That's a much more apt description, isn't it? Yeah, slow ICQ.
Anyway, so what made you start doing the daily EDH thing?
So I think it was around the time that I had my son. So that was child number 2, and my article writing had kind of cooled down because my time was becoming so limited. But I still wanted some way to kind of produce content, so I decided to just take it to Twitter, and I set like a realistic goal for myself. Like, I can take a minute out of my day to pick out a couple of interesting cards and ask a question about them, and that's where I went with it. And yeah, it kind of kept my mental EDH mind thinking, which is good.
Yeah, you probably took the more sane way of dealing with that kind of lack of magic time on your hands. I have a friend who just combed through his collection over and over again until he came up with like 40 new decks before he could play with us again.
That sounds fun, but that also sounds incredibly time consuming. That's not something I had time for. And I still got my games in, but I was really just looking for something to substitute for articles and for the podcast too. We slowed this down quite a bit. We've become pretty sporadic because of different time commitments. Me with my kids, Patrick with work, Nate with Fallout. Lost another one to Fallout. So yeah, I was going to say something. Oh yeah, so I was looking for something really to substitute for articles and podcasting. Because for me, the task of writing an article is quite arduous. It takes me like several very long sessions of like sitting down and piecing things together, and I don't know. I feel like I'm doing like an 8th grade collage poster thing where I pour through resources and pick out all the pictures that I want, and then I stick them on the thing, and then I write about it. It's quite lengthy.
It's like your book report presentation?
Yeah. It takes a long time. So, Daily EDH was a very quick solution to that. I can just do it in 5 minutes.
Okay. Speaking of things that come in 5s, what are your choices for the top 5 Daily EDH days stuff that you posted?
Ooh, alright. Dramatic music. Edit that in later, Nate. Make it sound dramatic. Mm-hmm. So, my first one is going to be from June 30th, 2018. And the topic was enchantments. I said, enchantments tend to stick around and do work over the whole course of the game. I love cheap enchantments. Huh. I have a typo. Something, great value effects. What's your favorite 3 or less mana enchantment for EDH? And then I threw up a couple of my favorites. I have Authority of the Consuls, Soothsaying, Planar Void, which is actually something that Nate turned me on to, and Miri's Guile, which is insanely expensive for what it does, in terms of dollars and not in terms of mana.
Yeah, I like Planar Void.
Yeah.
I think that's still inexpensive.
Planar Void, yeah, it's just like $1 or less. It's not too much.
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion going on here. Actually.
Yeah, it really took off, this particular one. Some of the things that people brought up were obviously Blind Obedience is just super classic. Sylvan Library was in there. Dana Roach brought up Righteous War, which is one of his pet cards. All your white creatures have pro-black, all your black creatures are pro-white.
Yeah.
A couple of other pretty good things in here. What's this one? Battle Strain. Whenever a creature blocks... Oh no, Heat of Battle. Whenever a creature blocks, Heat of Battle deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. Oh, here's one that doesn't see enough play anywhere. Inheritance is an enchantment for a single white. Whenever a creature dies, you can pay 3. If you do, draw a card.
That seems expensive, though.
The 3 mana?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really that much more expensive than... What's the new one? Whenever you gain life, you can pay 2 to draw a card?
Yeah, I'm thinking that 2 mana is the general rate for drawing a card. This is an old card, though.
Yeah.
I can tell by the art.
It's only 25 cents. And I mean, you're in white, so gotta draw those cards somehow.
Yeah, at the beginning, after your upkeep, like a sane person should.
I mean, you could kill things after your upkeep, right?
Yeah, you can. So let's see, they're saying Mystic Remora. Burgeoning is pretty neat. I like burgeoning.
Squandered resources. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, and then you got Song of the Dryads, Imprisoned in the Moon, and Darksteel Mutation are all under 3 mana.
Necropotence.
Yep, Necropotence. It's quite a range, really. You know, you've got stuff that, like, draws you a card in ramps, like Growing Rites of Itlamok. And you've got, you know, the Imprisoned in the Moon. But by and large, it's a lot of stuff that just sort of sticks around and has a continuous effect on the game and kind of gives you a little bit of an edge.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of little incremental things.
All right. What's number 4?
Number 4. This one is from September 13th, 2018. I've got a picture. So this was when Lazav the Multifarious was just spoiled, and I dropped Lazav, and I threw out a Heartstone and a Training Grounds, which make activated abilities of creatures cost a little bit less. I said, keeping in mind that you can activate Lazav multiple times a turn, complete this combo. And I'll just read Lazav off so you know what he does here. He's a 1/3 for blue and a black. When he enters the battlefield, surveil 1, and then you can pay X. Lazav becomes a copy of target creature card in your graveyard with CMC X, except its name is still Lazav, it's still legendary, and it has this ability. So you can basically become a bigger creature for cheaper if you've got out Heartstone and Training Grounds.
Right. Or if there was some reason you want to switch back and forth between some really cheap creatures multiple times.
Sure, like if one had evasion and then you swapped into something that was a little bit bigger in terms of power and toughness. Stuff like that. So this one was really fun. It actually it had a lot of people ringing in, but I'm not sure we ever actually really broke the card or got a combo out of it. I think the closest we came was Mike, who is from EDH Rec, suggesting Spawnsire of Ulamog, where you can pay 4 to make some Eldrazi spawn, or you can pay 20 to cast any number of Eldrazi cards you own from outside the game without paying their mana costs.
Does anybody do that?
I have seen it done before, and I did not appreciate it.
Okay.
I don't care for people who... I mean, there is no sideboard in EDH, and there's no wishboard, and there's no blah, blah. There's just not there.
I mean, I can understand the appeal of it for like a one-time effect or something. Just kind of like, I have all of these Eldrazi, and I really just want to do this at least once just to stick it to my friends. But doing it time and time again kind of feels a little cheaty.
Yeah. So that's that one.
Number 3.
So speaking of Xantcha Sleeper Agent, this tweet comes to us from July 24th, 2018. So this is actually everything we were just talking about a little bit earlier. My tweet says, "This is the kind of weird goodness that I play EDH for. Yes, I would like my opponents to beat each other up with my cards. Yes, I want to draw cards while punishing the player who has my stuff. Cruel hugs are best hugs. What cards are you eyeing for this deck?" And I've got a picture of Xantcha Sleeper Agent. I've got a Backlash. And I've got a Spiteful Visions, which is a howling line for everyone, but also whenever anyone draws a card, they take a damage.
Which is actually one of my all-time favorite cards.
It is a really fun card. I like Punisher effects, and I like Howling Mine effects, so why not combine the two?
Exactly.
Damage.
Some of the suggestions we got here, like from Lenny Woolley, said War's Toll. Red of the Raging Storm, which is something out of C16, C17, where at the beginning of everyone's upkeep, they make a 5/1 trampling elemental with haste. Some standard stocky things like Black Market, Blood Artist. Oh, Nate suggested Deathbringer Thoktar, which I actually really like. I think this card doesn't get enough love. Whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Deathbringer Thoktar. Then you can remove a +1/+1 counter from it, and it deals 1 damage to target creature or player.
Yeah. So it can be like a goblin sharpshooter in that you can take off things with 1 toughness.
Yeah.
But if you also have something like Pestilence or Pyrohemia, then you can put a mana into one of those, and it raises like the low water mark of what a Deathbringer Thoktar can kill that turn.
Slaps the top of the Thoktar. This baby can hold so much death touch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like if you put 2 mana into Pyrohemia, then you can kill anything with 3 toughness with a single counter from Deathbringer Thoktar, and then you get a counter back, and so you kill everything that has 3 toughness or less.
Right, I see what you're saying. You're sort of trying to give everything -N/-N with the Pestilence and Pyrohemia.
Yeah.
You do have to be a little bit careful with that, though, because if you take too many counters off the Thoktar, you'll kill it accidentally.
I think I just noticed something. With Lazav and your Heartstone. With Lazav, Heartstone, and Training Grounds, I think if you have a Palladium Mirror and a Pilipala in your graveyard, you can just keep switching back and forth between those and tapping and untapping and make infinite mana. If that's something you want to do.
That sounds right.
How much does Pilipala cost to activate?
It's 2, isn't it?
Yeah, it costs 2, but you get 1 back. And then Palladium Mirror taps for 2.
Yep, you can make infinite mana with Lazav.
And those 2
do
Heartstone
you need
and the Training Ground. Because you need to
both
pay
or just one?
Well,
yes.
You need both. You need both to pay the cost for Palladium Mirror.
Oh, wait, you make even more than that, because once Heartstone and Training Grounds are out, Pilipala doesn't cost anything to untap.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you make 3 mana every time you go around.
Alright. So, let's see, how many Lazav the Multifarious decks are using Pilipala?
Actually, you could do it with just 1 because of the discount on Pilipala. Just Heartstone or just Training Grounds will do it. Training Grounds will make even more mana, and having both out, of course, will make a whole poop ton of mana.
I am not seeing Pilipala on here. Ladies and gentlemen.
You should alert Donald Miner.
Yeah, he'll fix that right up for you.
Well, he'll fix it up by adding it to his own deck.
No, he'll fix it up by hiring some botnets to put a whole bunch of decks in the database with Pilipala.
Will he do that by way of servers in Greece?
It could be anywhere. The global economy shifts around. You don't know. You can't really rely on any one place for your botnets.
Yeah, once you track down where one botnet is, you need to move and choose a new botnet.
Mm-hmm. That's the way of the botnets. What's number 2?
Number 2 comes to us with... This is a janky combo that I thought up one day from December 4th, 2018. Hot deck idea of the day, Safi Manifest. If Safi targets a manifest land, planeswalker, artifact, or enchantment, she will still pull it out of the yard because it was a creature when it died. This lets you cheat out some huge cards for cheap. This was a pretty popular tweet, and I thought the idea was pretty clever. So if you have like Mastery of the Unseen, that lets you pay 4 to manifest the top card of your library, or Whisperwood Elemental, which lets you manifest the top card of your library at the beginning of your end step every turn, you can potentially put like an Ugin or something like that out onto the battlefield as a manifested creature.
What?
And then, I don't know, sacrifice it or wrap the board or something like that, and activate Safi Eriksdotter. She says, sacrifice herself. When target creature is put into your graveyard from play this turn, return that card to play.
Well, that...
The unfortunate... It works. It's weird, but it works. But the unfortunate thing... Yeah. The unfortunate thing is there just are not a lot of manifest engines. Pretty much Mastery of the Unseen and Whisperwood Elemental are it. So you would need more than that, probably.
You would need something Bant.
Yep, Bant would be the...
Bant would be nice, yep. Yeah, specifically in that color combination, yeah.
It's the same. Mimic Vat does the same kind of check, actually. So you can get double up on that effect.
Oh, interesting. That's not something I had realized.
Yeah, my all-time favorite thing to do with Mimic Vat was to copy a artifact creature with copy artifact, the 2 mana, 1 and a blue, just enchantment, turns it into enchantment artifact, and then when it dies, you can put it under Mimic Vat, and then you can just copy everything that's an artifact.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mimic Vat right now. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you may exile that card, not that creature. Yeah, That's cool. Very, very tricky. That's a fun little interaction if I ever get that going in my Grixis deck with Reality Shift.
Yeah. Well, that would be fun.
Yeah, right?
No, don't do it, Patrick. Don't build that deck. Don't do it. It's only fun to you. It's only fun to you. You don't need to do that to everybody.
Or what's the other card? Oh, that's not quite as interesting. I was going to say Ghastly Conscription, but that only manifests creature cards. Exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard in a face-down pile. Shuffle the pile, then manifest those cards.
There's that, now we're just naming off cards that manifest things. There's that blue card that when he deals damage, he manifests himself and the top card of your library, I think it is.
Is that a Sphinx?
Oh, that's...
No, it's a monk, I think.
I don't know that card, but I will take your word for it.
All right. What's number 1?
The top Daily EDH is actually it actually predates Daily EDH, I think. Or oh no, it doesn't. I just missed the hashtag. I had to tack it on as a response. The top Daily EDH tweet, in my opinion, is from May 14th, 2018. Here's a little combo cooked up in the ADH Rec Slack the other day. Oops, all their stuff is gone. And the combo is Priest of Yawgmoth. I'll read these after I read off the cards. Priest of Yawgmoth, Spine of Ishsaw, and Paradox Engine. You may be familiar with Spine of Ishsaw and Paradox Engine, but not Priest of Yawgmoth. It is a cleric. For 1 and a black, it's a 1/2 creature. Tap it. Sacrifice a artifact or a black creature. Hold on. The wording is very strange because it's from, what does it say, Antiquities?
I'm going to read the Oracle text.
Yeah, Oracle text is good. Try to read it right off the
so
card.
if you tap, sacrifice an artifact, add an amount of black mana equal to the sacrificed artifact's converted mana cost.
That's the one. So the combo is sacrifice Spine of Ishsaw to Priest of Yawgmoth to make 7 black mana. And of course, Spine of Ishsaw says that when it enters the battlefield, destroy target permanent. When it is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. So when you sack it to the Priest of Yawgmoth, you make 7 black mana and put it back in your hand, and you can recast it. That's pretty good. You could go around every single turn and blow one thing up on each of your turns. But when you add Paradox Engine, whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents you control. So when you cast your Spine of Ishsaw, you untap your Priest of Yawgmoth, and then you tap it again to sack the Spine, to make the mana, to cast it again, to untap the Priest, to cast it again. It just kind of makes a really mean circle.
Wait a second. That sounds like a combo.
It is a combo. It is an infinite combo of death and destruction.
That's the best kind.
And I actually changed my Brea deck around to include this particular combo in it. I had to go out and buy another Paradox Engine and a Priest of Yawgmoth. I actually bought like 20 Priest of Yawgmoths because I think the card is underappreciated, and I thought maybe with Brea it could become popular. It still hasn't, but I think I spent like $1 on 20 copies, so I'm not too worried about, sunk costs.
Hashtag magic finance.
All right. So that was a sneaky, dirty combo there.
So sneaky. Well, hey, were you guys in Slack that day? I think Henry suggested Paradox Engine.
I think I was around. I don't
Yeah.
remember. I feel like I helped, but I don't. But I don't know if it was like actual help or like, and I helped.
It sounds plausible, Patrick. I just remember Henry. I just remember Henry complaining about Paradox Engine and how that made it go infinite because Henry hates everything. And I was like, Paradox Engine, that's the one piece it's missing. Now it's infinite. Thank you, Henry. And Henry probably grumbled or something.
I mean, he uses Paradox Engine, so he grumbles about it, but not too much.
Does he? Does he use it?
He uses it in his Gonti deck, much like I do.
That makes sense.
It's a finisher for his deck.
Does it go infinite in Gonti? I guess it depends on what Gonti exiles.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it does. You just need an erratic portal and enough mana to cast, or enough artifact mana to cast Gonti again.
Now, do you guys run Soldevi Adnate in your Gonti decks?
I have no idea if Henry does, but I don't think.
Okay. Soldevi Adnate is the card that I was kind of confusing with Priest of Yawgmoth when I was trying to read the non-Oracle rules text. So Soldevi Adnate is also a human cleric for 1 and a black, and it's also a 1/2. And it taps to sacrifice a black or artifact creature. So not a regular artifact. It has to be a creature. And then you get an amount of black mana equal to the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. So it doesn't quite work the same way as Priest, but it would work in Gonti since Gonti's black. So that's it. That is the top tweet of DailyEDH.
Thank you, Dean, for your year of toiling at the Twitters with the tweets.
Your twatter game is on point. It's on fleek, maybe? Am I cool enough to use the word fleek?
Yeah, that's still cool.
Yeah, sure.
To say.
Definitely super duper.
Yeah, I spend all my time hanging out with all the cool young kids, not in front of my computer working on databases. That's totally what's happening.
You guys follow the hashtag, at least passively, right? Have you gotten into any good conversation? Has it been good for you?
Was it good for you?
It was good for me. Was it good for you?
Yeah, I think it's cool to break up the horror and nightmares of the normal Twitter timeline with some fun, lighthearted questions about Magic cards.
For sure.
I'm always surprised by the amount of traction some things get versus others.
Yeah, same here. Like a couple of times I've just been like, I slept for 5 hours last night and the hours were not consecutive. What am I going to tweet about? Okay, Gatherer, give me a random card. Yep, that's good. And then like an hour later I've got like 25 replies. What the hell? What is wrong with you people? I didn't put any thought into this at all. And then other days I like toil and like really, this one's so clever. And then like, end of the day I've gotten 5 responses or whatever, a couple of likes. And I'm like, what happened? It was so good.
All I know is that you don't use any of my suggestions.
Do you give me suggestions?
I have, and then I stopped because you stopped wanting to use any of them. I mean, like should Karn wear pants? It's a perfectly yeah. And you're like, no, it's got to be about EDH. And it was like, this is very important to EDH.
It's perfectly cromulent to EDH. Yeah, exactly. No, that's really more of a Vorthos question. You could kick that over to Vorthos Mike. I hear he really likes those lighthearted, fun, silly questions.
Cromulent is a good word.
It is.
Isn't it? It's not mine. I got it from my friend Jay.
Well, you're allowed to use it. It's part of the language.
Well, yes, I know, but it's not one that I just started to go around using. It's not one that I discovered on my own.
Well, I mean, that's not how words work in the first place, but It's not like you go down into the word mines and find a fresh vein of letters that as you're picking away at it, words come out. That's not.
You don't know my life, Patrick.
I mean, I kind of do.
Yeah, but you don't know. How do you know about the word mine, Patrick?
Listen, if there's one thing I do a lot of, and that's play Minecraft.
Yeah.
How do you make your anagram smelters?
Perfect.
Our last game.
So we haven't played a game with each other in a while. Talk about the last games that you played.
I already did with the Xancha game where I won off the backlash.
Yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second, Nate. I hear you've been on a stream or two.
Yeah, so I've been playing with MTG Lexicon. I'm not really affiliated with them, but I might show up there once a month and play EDH with them for 8 hours or so.
They're cool guys.
Yeah.
I've seen their stream a little bit. I've seen you on there.
Mm-hmm. And then they post the videos to YouTube afterwards.
It is pretty hard to live stream EDH, but they pull it off like that. It's really well done.
Yeah, they got a lot of monitors and computers in their room and stuff.
You would never know it.
Well, I know it because I saw them.
Aside from the high production quality of the stream. Patrick, you got any last games to talk about?
Oh man, nothing exciting really happens in my games. Mostly, I am still struggling with Rat Colony and Marin.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that deck was I thought you had solved that deck.
No, it's not solved. The benefits of going faster definitely has its merits. However, it's lost a lot of mid-game reach where I used to be able to steal games out of kind of nowhere with kind of that turn 8 or 9, that kind of spot. I've kind of lost that because it's gone so fast. So
Interesting.
And so it kind of puts you in a really awkward spot of going too far all in, that if you stumble, you're just kind of out of the game. So I'm having to keep at it until it's kind of there,
Mm-hmm. You'll get there, Patrick. We believe in you.
I know. It would really help if I could just jam 1,000 games with it.
Oh, for sure.
But that's not how life works unless you're a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm twice a teenager.
You're 2 teenagers.
I'm 2 teenagers stacked on top of each other.
Did you do a business? Are you familiar with BoJack Horseman?
Well, I'm familiar with it, but I don't watch it.
Get out. Get out.
Okay, goodbye.
You should watch it. It's really good.
That's what I hear.
Mm-hmm. All right. Should we stop?
Yeah.
Probably. We're probably done.
Stop.
Visit us at patreon.com/commandertime.
You can find me on Twitter at Grubfellow.
At Detective Yarmits.
At Mr. Plorg.